It's going to take another second. Once it starts, well, I'm going to hand it to Danny, and he's on. Valentina, how are the snakes?
Oh, they're good. I already ordered. They're under control. Don't worry. The guaymas are under control. I'm going to sing to them and see what happens.
I'll cut that part out.
We'll do it then. Okay,
we'll talk about that afterwards.
Yeah.
When we stop.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining me on today's training, which is the MLS training and how to put a listing in correctly. Here we're going to start off in the MLS dashboard. This is through Matrix. This is one of the easiest programs to use. So add and edit, top corner. And you come over here to add a new listing. Now you get to choose between the listings. Make sure that you get it correctly because it will throw off the search if you do not get the correct one. If it's a townhouse compared to a single family, it will throw it off.
Guys, just a quick thing. Like on my own house, I actually made a mistake and put it in as a single family home instead of a condo townhouse by mistake. And almost immediately, I was getting emails from the board. It's still like that. I haven't changed it. It's not a big deal, but they'll send you a little, hey, go in there and change it when you get a chance type email. If you do it wrong. So
yeah, very important that you're I should actually back this up for a little bit, and I should start it off by saying this. The MLS is very, very important because this is our MLS. We all pay between $800 to $1,000 a year for our board dues, and a large chunk of that goes into maintaining this MLS. So I always feel that it is our responsibility, as the quote-unquote owners of this program, to make sure we put good information in. Because it's really, really important that if we put good information in moving forward, we will always have good information in there, and it makes our job a lot easier. And we get to be professional because we have a tool that actually works.
And let me just say one thing. Unfortunately, we have to think as the MLS as the data storage warehouse, as the hard drive. So everything we put into the MLS, we have to remember that information is what propagates to the Zillows of the world, the Realtors, the Homes.com, and stuff like that. Yeah, there's about 1,000 different sites, plus our personal IDXs. It all comes from here. But it's a double-edged sword because you want to put it all in the MLS first because that's where it all comes from. But that's the last thing you want to activate is make the listing go live. So when you do this, you want to do it all at the same time because if you do a save as on the listing and go back a week later to do the coming soon, the problem is it's going to take the listing date as the day you open the record in the MLS. That's where the days on market starts to count, I've noticed. So even though it's saved as, okay, and not live, it's still counting days on market. Okay, so that's why I always try to wait till the last minute to put it in the MLS. If you don't care about the days on market, don't worry about it. But if we're doing coming soons and stuff like that, and we create this first, and then we're going to hold it for a week or 10 days, it's going to put those week or 10 days on days on market if we save it in the MLS first. So, if we're doing a coming soon, we do it a little bit different. If it's just going right in the MLS, boom, we can jump right into it. Just keep that in mind, okay? Go ahead, Danny, sorry.
All right, guys. So first thing you should do when you have brand new listings, obviously you're going to have your listing agreement. Okay, this is an older listing agreement for a property that my client told me to hold off on putting into the MLS. And you just gave me the green light this week to go ahead and put it in. So don't mind the name, don't mind the date. Those are irrelevant at this point. So first thing you want to do, you have your address, your legal description. I always recommend you come straight to Miami-Dade Property Appraisers
or Broward
Property Search.
Or Broward, obviously.
Wait, Scott. One at a time.
Daniel, I'm sorry, I missed. Did you pull this record from the MLS or you opened the Miami?
No,
appraiser?
Okay, so that's what I was going to say. You have your listing agreement, okay? First thing you do is you open up your listing agreement, so you have your address and your legal description. Next place you're going to want to go is depending on if it's Miami-Dade or if it's Broward County. Miami-Dade is the Miami-Dade Property Appraisers Property Search. Here is the link right here. I recommend that when you go to it for the first time, which is right here, I'm just going to copy this real quick. The home screen, this is the screen that you land on. Just go ahead and save it into your toolbar. If you can see, mine is right here. I have mine saved. See property search, miami-dade.gov. This is a pain in the butt long website to actually to go through.
Yeah, you got to dig to get to it.
Yeah, so like if you want, this is probably the best page to save right here.
Yeah, just bookmark it.
You bookmark this page right here, which is the search bar. Okay, because in Miami-Dade, it's a little like this is a weird .gov/app/PA property search. Just bookmark it, save yourself the time. You just drop the address in there. Now for Broward is a very simple one. bcpa.net. And if you're a Broward agent, this is something you should memorize. bcpa.net. You should bookmark it everywhere. It's the easiest. You go to property search in the corner, and you get this right here. You can search by either the landlord's name or the address. I personally like to go by the address to make sure that it's physically there. This particular property happens to be in Miami-Dade County. So we have it here set up. Bay winds, the address, the owner, it all matches. We're good to go. But you can see where this gives you all the information of the property. 3.2, square footage, lot size, year built. This is what the MLS is going to pull from now. Because they changed it, you can no longer manually input the living area on the MLS. So it will auto-populate from whatever is on the property records. If you see a discrepancy, if you see that your landlord, your client told you 2,000 square foot house, and you come here, and its actual area is 1859, the living area is 1642, you have some questions to ask. Did he do an addition, possibly without permits? Is this going to bite you in the butt when you try to sell it? It's a good place to start checking, checks and balance, to make sure that all the information is lining up. You're not going to have any surprises down the road. Another great thing is, look, this is not a single family home. This is a joined roof, 4 different lots. You know that this is a townhome and or a condo. And if you want to come and find out, in the legal description, you can normally tell whether or not it is going to be a condo because it would have condo there. This is a townhome. This is a fee simple townhome. You can go into. All right, so where is it on Miami? I'm really good with the ones in Broward. Give me 1 second.
Isn't it the numbers in the folio that you can tell?
No, that is so you can get the area number.
Oh, the area number. Okay, sorry.
So look, on Miami-Dade, these are your big tools. Property records card is an important one. Property taxes is an important one. I'm going to go through and show you why. The internet here is terrible, guys. Hold on. Normally when it is a condo, just so you know, it's going to say it here in your either your lot and block or the bay winds where it says Dominica, the replat. It would say here condo, and then you would have right underneath lot size. It would also tell you your undivided ownership of the common areas. That's how you know it is a condo versus fee simple. And so you know really quick the difference is a condo has a board of directors that own, and you all own an individual portion of the common areas. Okay, meaning your pools, your walkways, your trees, your landscaping, your fences, all that stuff. Each person owns sometimes 1/64th, 1/32nd, 1/52nd of the ownership. If you've ever wondered what that is at the end of the legal description. And an HOA, which is a fee simple, the homeowners association owns the common areas, and they are a separate entity that all of you are managing owners of. So it's a different setup. Normally on your HOAs, it's going to be a cheaper rate. It's going to be a cheaper monthly cost compared to a condo. Condos normally are going to provide more services though. Sometimes they include insurance, roofs, things of that nature. When you're in a fee simple townhouse, you are normally responsible for the repair of the roof, the replacement of the windows, and things of that. Not the same when you're in a condo. So it's good to know the difference because your client's going to want to know. You want to know that as well. I'll just display property card. So taxes right here, really important to know whether or not the 19, 18, 17, 16 are paid. This will let you know whether or not they have a tax liability. These are things that are going to come up when it comes time to closing, and you're going to want to know them. Also, in Miami-Dade County, this is a non-ad valorem tax. Excuse me, sorry. Yes, this is a non-ad valorem tax. So ad valorem taxes are the normal taxes you pay on a property. See the 4,652? Non-ad valorem taxes are a tax that is being assessed or levied by the county or community for normally things like impact fees, gates, streets, sidewalks, things like that were installed when the home was built. This is a newly built property. This is an additional tax. In Miami-Dade County, if you do not disclose this to a buyer, they can cancel all the way up to signing of the contract. Literally, they can be sitting at the table, sign 50% of the paperwork, and if they say, wait a second, you didn't tell me about these non-ad valorem taxes, cancel your contract. Don't let it happen. It is happening out there. Especially right now, with the coronavirus going around, it's a good, easy excuse to get out of a contract. So make sure you check to see if it has a non-ad valorem tax, and in Miami-Dade County, you should either put it in the broker's remark or have that addendum already filled out, sitting in the attachments of the listing, which I'll show you where you can put it in a minute. This way, it is no questions. You reference it in the broker remarks, and your butt is covered. You make sure you get it signed, and then you're not going to lose your contract. So very
Daniel,
important.
I'm sorry. Daniel,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I lost you guys for a second. Do you mind telling me what was that?
Okay, so did you hear the part about the non-ad valorem taxes?
No, that's where I lost you guys.
Okay, a non-ad valorem tax is a tax that is levied by the community and or the city or county for impact fees, entryways, sidewalks, roads, things of that nature. Sewage. It's money that has to get paid back to the city through a municipal bond, technically. In Miami-Dade County, if you do not disclose it on the to the buyer, they can cancel the contract all the way up to the time of closing. That's sitting at the closing table. So make sure that you fill out the non-ad valorem if you see it on the property. Go pull the form from Form Simplicity, fill it out, get it signed by your seller, and put it in the attachments of the MLS. I'll show you where you can do that shortly. And also reference it in the broker remarks. I'll show you where to do that as well. So it's very important that you come here and you take a look at the taxes. You also want to make sure that the taxes are paid and there is no tax levy against the property.
Okay.
This looks like mumbo jumbo right here, guys. This is the real estate online property records card. This is going to be good for when you get into an older property. Okay, when you're talking about a property that's built in the 70s or an 80s, Valentina Requeses, you have one that was in 78, I think it was, in Boca or something. It's an older property. This is good to go looking through because you'll be able to see if there has been any changes to the property. And if you guys want a little bit more training on this, I can show you. But this is a good little tool to start investigating on older properties, whether or not they've been modified illegally, which are going to kill your deal. So we'll go over that on a whole nother day. And if anybody was interested in getting nerdy about it and really figuring out about properties, this is a great little tool. So back to the property search. All right, so on the property search, you have all your information, you've double checked it, you're all good, everything's good to go. You come to add new listing on your MLS dashboard. Right here is add a new. And then you're going to choose from which one it is. Single family and manufactured homes. It's going to be any detached single family home or any of those the mobile homes, things like that. Those fall into those categories. Condo, co-op, and townhouses. Again, I explained the difference between the condos and the townhouses. Co-ops are completely different. Real quick on a co-op, it has similar. I don't even want to say it's similar to a condo. A co-op, every single person owns a portion of everything. It's a very convoluted ownership. I don't recommend you ever getting your client into it unless you do research and you know about it. Also, most banks will not lend any money on a co-op. Not here in Florida. I have found out in New York, they will lend money on co-ops, but down here in South Florida, not even hard money will really touch a co-op. Residential rental, that's pretty much any rental, single family, townhome, condo, kayak, anything that you're renting out. Residential land, boats, and docks, pretty self-explanatory. Residential income. This is going to be your duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, any variation of those, anything that may have an additional income source. Let's say you have a front house and a back house. Even though they're split, it's technically a duplex property. That would go into this as well. That's like my favorite. That's my favorite search, by the way, for me to buy, because those make you money. Commercial land, business, agricultural, and industrial. I mean, if that's your game, that's where you would be going. There's also better sources through CoStar and LoopNet. Improved commercial and industrial, the same, and then business opportunities, which actually is pretty good on the MLS. We're going to go condo, co-op, and townhouses. Anybody have any questions on that so far?
No.
All right. So this is very tricky, the way that this works. There's formats that the way this works with. All right, guys. And I'm going to tell you, this right here, these little question marks, they're your little best friend. This is where I learned a lot of this stuff. Okay. You put in just a street number and the street name here. It is not going to auto-populate if you do not choose a county that it's in. Okay? This one particularly happens to be in Miami-Dade County, but you're pretty much all your choices right here that you're allowed to post in. Our address is, actually I have it saved. Now the way that this works on the MLS is very weird. They want just the number on the street number. So if it's 401 Southwest blah blah blah, 605 Southwest blah blah blah, you just put the number portion. Here it's very weird. It wants the southeast, but it does not want what street it is. So you can put southeast second, but if you were to put court, street, Ave, anything like that, you're going to screw the system and it's not going to find it. Also, you can put in the unit number. You can search by just the folio number, the parcel ID number, or just the first or last name of the owner. I've tried using the first or last name of the owner. It is a terrible search. It doesn't really work very well. So here we got Miami-Dade selected. We put just the front number, 3353. Here we put Southeast second, and we search. Now, it's going to show you if they have anything that is...
ND. That's what they did, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the ND.
Yeah,
Don't ever put ND, ST,
Scott's absolutely
your
right.
TH. You're just going to screw it up.
Yeah, you got to put just the number. And this
And
one...
even then, sometimes you have get rid of the second of street name. Just put Southeast. Yeah. Sometimes you have to play around with it a little bit because this is pulling from tax records as well.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah. So this was just not coming up at all.
All right, so little trick when this is not coming up at all. This is a perfect, I mean, I couldn't even pay to do this one better. Come here, grab the folio number. Not the whole folio number.
Right. So the folio number is like the social security number for that record, basically.
Correct.
So
it's
unique.
Unique to just this property.
Cool.
But click this, and it does not help you.
Now it could be internet, dude. It could be internet issues on why it's not. I've noticed that every searchable database is slow right now.
See how that worked? We're gonna go back. I'm gonna show you guys how that worked. Condo co-op. We tried. We clicked Miami-Dade. We tried with the street number. Wasn't working. So we came up here to the parcel ID. We copied and pasted this number, which is your folio number. Like again, Scott said, that's a social security number for that property. It is unique to that property. That's going to match on every single document, or else you have a fake document.
Yeah.
That's when they were fudging numbers back in the day. That's what they were doing to fudge them, or the folio numbers. So here's your owner's name. That's the house. And I guarantee you I know what the problem was. I wasn't using capital. And you know what? Let's try it out. Let's see if we can trick the system.
Yeah, every database, I mean, the concepts are all the same. They just work a little bit differently. And you have to play around it here. The safest bet is always going to be the folio number because it's the one unique identifier of the property. Yeah.
It doesn't always work off the address. And I'll tell you, newer construction
isn't going to appear.
Has the biggest problem. New construction, I'm going to go over briefly. You're going to start a new listing from scratch. And you get to start from scratch, zero fill in from the tax roll, and you go back and forth. I do a lot of those. It's not very difficult. It's just a couple more steps. We're going to go over all of it here. So because this one had a folio number that matches up there, we were able to get a lot of the things already filled in. The county, the street number, even the legal address, municipal code, township section, parcel ID. Makes your life very easy.
And guys, just why he's on the screen. The MLS has all of these fields created for a reason. Okay, so this is what happens. Every company out there that's getting an IDX feed like Zillow or Realtor or Homes or HomeSnap, or any of the 1,000 sites that are out there, everybody is paying a license fee for different data. So the more you fill out, the more opportunity you have for exposure on the internet. The more you leave blank, you're missing on opportunities. Yes, it's optional, but you're missing on those other opportunities that are out there. These other companies are paying a lot of money for SEO to appear on that first page with Zillow. And this is where all that data is coming from. So the more you fill out, you're filling in more of those check boxes from Google to get your listing to the top of the list. Okay. And on a lot of the sites, with the exception of Realtor.com, your name is going to appear as the listing agent exclusively. Zillow and Realtor and those big ones that are selling, it won't. But on all the other sites that are doing SEOs, you're going to appear. We're going to come up. So it's very important to fill out as much of these as possible. It's a little more time consuming, but it's going to help you rank better in the organic world on Google, which is what our goal is.
Not only that, guys, this is our MLS. If you do your job right, you're gonna sell this house multiple times in your life. Okay, I've sold properties twice already. You're gonna want to put this information in right because you're gonna end up using it later on. I'm telling you, you're gonna use it later on. Okay, so a majority of this is filled out. Unit number. Since this is a townhome, condo, co-op, and makes you put a unit number, as silly as it is, you have to use that front number.
The address. The address.
These simple townhomes do not have a unit number majority of the time because they're not condos. They have a physical address. You would just reuse the 3353, which is the front side of the number, put it there. This way, Zillow and Realtor will pick it up correctly, because if not, it will screw them up. Unit floor location. Again, this could be a townhouse where your front door is on the second floor. This is very important to know. What if I'm handicapped? What if I'm elderly? And I want something that enters on the first floor that may even have a bedroom on the first floor. That's why this is a very important field to fill out. People who are disabled can actually use this against you as discriminatory. Total floors in the building, same exact reason. If you're a handicapped or elderly and you want a ranch-style house, you're going to want to know whether or not it has 1 floor or 2 floors. You're not going to want to waste your time going out there. Building number, this would work as if you had multiple buildings inside of a complex. You know, it was building 1, B, C, 3, D, any of those. Number of units in the building. While it's important, sometimes more difficult to find out, but it is very important. There are some foreign buyers who will not buy if it has over 100 units in the building. They want more exclusivity. So this is a commonly searched field, but unfortunately not enough people are filling it out for it to be utilized. And it does drive people crazy.
Yeah.
Municipal code, township range, section, subdivision, parcel, all can be found on the property search area. Important to have filled out because the MLS needs them. Most people are not searching by them. Subdivision name, Bay Winds of Dominica, and unfortunately it cuts off the. I'm not even going to pretend to know how to pronounce that.
Eleuthera.
I mean, we only literally have one letter.
Right. You don't. The reason it cuts off is it doesn't have enough character spaces, and that's okay. That's an MLS thing. You're fine with that. But I would copy that into the complex name too.
Correct. Come here, your legal description. Normally you can cheat, and it has on condos, townhouses. Normally it has it in the legal description. Not really going to happen so much in your single-family homes. Come down here, add it into the complex name and also the development name. Normally the complex and development are the same thing.
If you know the schools, guys.
Wait, no. Stop. Okay. Model name, very important. If it's new construction, if you're starting from scratch, I urge you to do the digging. Go to the Lennar, go to the home builders, go to the America's First website, find the model name. Okay, guys? You're going to thank yourself in 7 years. When you see this house again and you're like, oh, it's a Model B. Thank God I do this correctly. I'm telling you. These are all my models that are just saved because I do the search and I find them. Now, what Scott was saying right here, off your elementary school, middle school, and senior high school, these are all available on IMAP. If you go to IMAP, it'll tell you the exact school that is in that district, and you can trust that information. It is verified. I don't know who's an old school agent, but 5 years ago, we did not have this luxury. You used to have to go to the school board website, put in the zip code, look at the map, make sure you're on the right side of the street because of the way the school zones work, and if not, you can kind of screw yourself and you can get sued for it. because a lot of parents who are looking for this right here. A lot of parents, to give you an example, down in Miami, want their kid to go to Pinecrest Elementary, and Pinecrest Middle, and Palmetto Senior High. Okay, and they're gonna buy a house, and we'll pay 50 grand more
for that
to go to that house, because if not, the alternative is a $35,000 a year tuition at a private school. And when you do the math, it makes more sense to put them in the school and buy the bigger house, the more expensive house.
You have a lot of people, especially in the luxury line, that are buying their home locations based on schools.
Correct.
For their kids, especially high schools.
It is still very. I moved a client from Deerfield, okay, where they had their kids in private school, to Boca Raton, where they were able to put their kids in public school, and he bought a $200,000 more house. He's like, Danny, over 10 years, I would have spent double that putting my kid through school. So it made more sense, and he was able to buy a bigger house on the water in Boca Raton. So that's also another big important selling factor.
Yep.
Geographical area. This is pulling from your area code over here, which we're going to go over now. Miami-Dade has a little cheat where the all right, well, real quick, we're going to go to folio numbers, guys. Sorry. I want to point out something here on folio number. Each county, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, have a different format to be entered into the MLS. And if you're starting from scratch on a newer construction or something that hasn't been in the MLS, a little cheat sheet is right here. Broward County doesn't use any dashes, just uses the numbers. Miami-Dade uses 2-2-2-3-4, and Palm Beach doesn't use any dashes. It'll give you an error message if you put it in wrong and keep bouncing you back and bouncing you back. You'll be very frustrated. You're going to be thankful that you have a little cheat sheet right here on how to put it in. Okay? Miami-Dade has a little trick in the folio number, but before I show you that, I want to show you the correct way to find your area. Guys, the importance of using the area on the MLS is because this is how the MLS uses where to put your house on that big map when you go searching for homes. When you go and you put in all your results and you refine it down, you have the map and you have all the houses plotted, this is what it's pulling from, okay? This is a very important number. The way to find that, and it's available for you on the MLS and through the board, and I will send out this link right here to everybody.
Cut it and put it in the chat room.
Yeah, there we go.
Copy it, the link, and put it in the chat.
Copy. Real quick, let me put it in the chat for you guys. Save this, bookmark it, put it in your cell phone. There's a little cheat sheet to go and find all of them. This has everything. St. Lucie and Martin counties, Palm Beach, Miami-Dade, Dade County, all of that. So what you do is you come here to the good old Dade County map. It is older than dirt, okay? But it's pretty well square. It's pretty well gridded out. Broward County is much worse.
Okay, so I'm going to interrupt for 1 second. There's also an easy solution of go find and see if there's a listing in one of the neighbors' houses and pull it from the listing too.
I am going to ask you to cancel, erase, and delete what Scott just said. Do not listen to what Scott just said. We have crappy agents in the MLS, guys, and this is why we are better than them and why we will go, not better as in this is why we work harder than them. Let me rephrase that. Because we will do the hard work and we will pull up the MLS map and we're not going to cheat and go use somebody else's crappy listing. Okay, guys, Miami-Dade is a grid. It's very, very simple. Okay? Open up Google, 3353, Southeast, Second Court, Homestead. Okay, guys? This will give you a map. Very simple to do. Look where your property is, and you go find it on the map. Anybody under 25 years old will probably have a difficulty doing this because they've never looked at a real map before in their lives. They've always used GPS. Anybody over 25 years old, we all learned how to get through Miami using an old map. Okay? Find the property. Use your big landmarks. Turnpike, US 1, you know what I mean? Use those. Homestead Speedway. These are things you're going to need to use as a landmark. You're going to come down here. So the map, guys. I know this takes a little bit more time, but look, we have the Florida Turnpike, the 821. You see that? That's Florida Turnpike, 821. Goes all the way down right here. And we have Dixie Highway. Okay, remember those main markers right here? You're gonna find you're on the outside of both of those. So you're gonna come back to your area map, go, okay, I'm on the outside of both of those. You're gonna wanna find what this is right here. And you're gonna use these different ones. I happen to know that this is in 79, okay? There's the Homestead Air Force Base, the Turnpike, US 1, and then North Canal Drive. Those are main indicators, and I'll show you right here on the map where they are. Where's my canal? The canal is going to be a little harder to find, but you're going to want to look on the map. US 1, Turnpike, here's our property. We match it up. Our property is right about here. We're inside the 79 grid. Come over to your MLS, guys. I know this sounds stupid, but it's very important, okay? Little trick for Miami-Dade. I'll let you know a little freebie. The second number in the folio number in Miami-Dade is actually the area number. So any of your listings in Miami-Dade.
That's only Miami-Dade. That works.
Any of your Miami-Dade and Homestead listings, this is your little cheat sheet. Second number in your folio number is the actual area number. That doesn't work in Broward, guys. We have to do it the old school way, and we have to bust out the map, and we have to look. We have to use our indicators and our markers. Okay? Very important that you do this correctly. If not, your property is going to get lost. People actually won't find you. They're going to come down here, geographical area.
Didn't populate. Yeah.
No, because it's Miami.
Didn't populate. Because it's Miami.
Yeah, but it's Miami super easy.
Yeah. Would you looking for the zip code, the area?
Yeah.
Still in Palm Beach.
Actually, I just have to go to the next page. When you go to the next page, it'll actually try to auto-populate that on you. Another thing to make sure of is to, make sure that you're in the correct spot on the map. This is going to be fine if your folio number popped up through the iMap. If not, and you're starting from scratch, you're going to want to go here. After you put the address in here, you're going to want to go update map or set latitude and longitude manually, which I've had to do inside of complexes. Sometimes it puts you at the front entrance of the complex, but your property's in the back of the complex. Take the time to put it in the right space, guys. If not, you're gonna send. You have to think about it like this: agents aren't really working hard, so make it easy for them. If you don't make it easy for them, they're not going to show your property. They're going to show the next guy's property or girl. Do you have any questions on the first page, location information on the MLS?
No.
Ask now or forever hold your peace.
I'm okay.
All right.
Valentina, since I missed a lot, I'm going to need to hear again the audio, but I'm trying to follow where you are right now.
Okay, so we just finished on page 1. Valentina, if you would like, it's being recorded. If not, I can answer any questions for you afterwards. Let's keep it moving forward for the whole group.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, yeah, because afterwards I can definitely go over this with you super quick. A lot of these are very self-explanatory. Short sale, REO, list price. Do not ever use range price. Do not ever use low list price. We are not in that market. We do not use those because this will you're just showing your cards to the next agent who's gonna shortchange you on your sale. You see how right here I told you square footage is auto-populated? We can no longer modify these 3 boxes because they got sick and tired of people manipulating the MLS and putting incorrect info. All right, type. This is very important. This is, what is it? Co-op, condo, condominium, which if you don't know what a condominium is, they're pretty cool. They don't make them anymore. It's like a condo that has a dock attached to it already. You find a lot of them in Fort Lauderdale, on the Lauderdale Isles. Is it a hotel, townhouse, or a villa? There is a difference between a townhouse and a villa. I invite you to go look at what the differences are.
Look at the roof.
There's a type of construction. Yeah, there's a type of construction that makes them different. I don't want to misspeak, but it has majority to do with like the way the roof is set up.
Right, A-frames.
Exactly, on the A-frames of the roof. But I don't want to misspeak because there is a proper definition. Go look it up, guys. It makes you a better real estate agent. Style, very important to look at. Okay, efficiency. Is it a condo 1 or 4 stories? That's a low rise. 5+ stories, mid rise to high rise. Okay. Condo hotel. You see a lot of these on Brickell. The beach, for Lauderdale Beach. These is very important to know because the ownership is different. the way you're gonna hold ownership of the property is kind of decided right here, and it's very important for people. Somebody who's educated is not going to touch certain categories here. Is it a co-op 1 to 4 stories, co-op 5+ stories, townhouse fee simple like we were talking about earlier, or is it a townhouse condo? There are definitely townhouse condos here all over Florida. Fee simple condo, and then also a villa fee simple, and then a villa condo. Very important because this is the type of ownership, and if you're coming from an educated buyer, this is going to be a make or break for them. Okay? If you need to know what any of these are, guys, throw it in the chat. I can go over it a little bit more in detail. Front exposure. The reason why this is so important, and you can find this from looking on the good old map, down a street view, and you can figure out which way your property is facing. The reason for this, guys, and as silly as it sounds, there's a lot of people who buy houses on feng shui. Okay? And if the house isn't facing east to west or north to west,
like the Hindu population, they're very the numbers of the house, the address,
which way the house
faces,
sun rising on it, sun setting on it, correct? The other thing is you have some good old Florida people who've lived here a very long time, and they go, if my house is facing east to west with those big bay windows, it is going to be $100 just to keep that thing cool during the day. I want a house that faces north to south. I want a house that faces northwest to southwest because of cooling. People get weird with that way that they want their house, but try to start using front exposure. It is important, and it also makes you a better agent.
And it also helps you propagate to all those other websites that focus on different things. You have to think not always Google Realtor and the main ones. There's thousands and thousands of other ones out there.
From different fields. Yeah. They all pull from different fields. If it's a short sale, you have to include, or an REO, no, actually, it's not an REO. If it's a short sale, you have to include whether or not it is approved or unapproved short sale. The reason being, there is a big difference in the process and the time frame. An approved short sale can get closed much faster than an unapproved short sale, which means you have to go approach the bank and see if they're going to be open to your offer or open to actually processing a short sale on it. So very, very important. Okay. Any questions on those top boxes from here up? From here up.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory, but very important. Front exposure, we went over. The building area, agent. This is if you have to provide the building area. This is going to get into more of your multifamilies because they're going to be split. So you're going to want to know if it's, if there's an adjustment to be made or if there's more information out there. So like let's say that the actual building area is bigger because let's say it has a front foyer that is shared common area. And I probably say that word, foyer.
Mm-hmm.
If it's shared, that would be an adjusted area. That's not your technically it's not owned by you, but it's a shared area. So that's where that would go into. Is it an auction? Yes or no? That normally is if the property is REO'd or short sale. Is it an auction type? We can get more into that.
Those are important if you're dealing with those because that's the feeds that the auction sites purchase from the MLS.
Zoo, all your other one, Home Path, all of those. These are the boxes that they're pulling from right here. Okay? They're buying this box and this box. They can give a crap less about a lot of these other ones. All right. For lease, if the property is also for lease and for sale, you were supposed to let the public know that. Yes or no, and then the MLS number.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to do a for sale and a for lease listing, you have to make the for sale live in the MLS first before the rental. Because otherwise, sites like Zillow, and I'm going to zero in on Zillow on this one, will claim the rental first on their site because they get to charge you for that. So if you put the rental in first, it is a pain in the butt to go back and have that changed, having to deal with Zillow. Valentina and I went weeks back and forth, and the rental kept always taking over the actual listing. So be mindful, you've got to do the listing first for the purposes of Zillow and Zillow only. If that's not important to you, don't worry about it. If Zillow is important to you, and it should be, then you need to put it in the system right because it's very time consuming to make that change once it's in there incorrectly.
All right. Unit attached. Excuse me?
I'm sorry. How much does Zillow charges you?
Zillow, I think, charges $9.95 a week for a rental now.
Yeah. No, I think it's a month.
I'm not.
You have to look. Zillow
Yeah.
Rental Manager is the program. It's
Right.
their rental arm of Zillow, and you can pay to list it in there. And I'll be honest with you guys, I've used it back when it was free. I was very
Very
heavy on that,
Mhm.
and I would get like 70% of my rentals rented both sides of the deal because they're
Nice.
straight leads right to you. Hey, I want to do a showing tomorrow. You know?
Rentals have exclusivity as sales do not.
Correct.
Okay.
Zillow will sell your
listing, right?
to the whomever and ever.
Right. Whoever's purchasing that zip code is going to get that, right?
A little bit better.
Right. Rentals is exclusive. If somebody comes in a rental, the rental's going to come right to you. Why? Because remember, Zillow charges a fee for their rental side. On the seller side, why? Because they get a commission, soon to be part of the deal.
Hey, I want to let you guys know that I know a very successful woman who makes about 75 grand a year. She doesn't want more than that. She makes 75 grand a year off of rentals, and she doesn't work hard. She doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
So that rentals can be a great little money maker.
It's fast money, even though everybody hates them.
It's quick too.
It's fast money.
You get to know the communities and the managers. They'll process your paperwork fast. It's super easy. So a lot of these are very self-explanatory. Waterfront, yes or no. HOPA, if you need to know what it is, you always click these little question boxes here, guys. They're your best friends. Okay? I'm not telling you anything much different than what is in these boxes. I want to tell you that. With a couple things that I've learned through mistakes, but a lot of this information is right here. HOPA, Housing Older People's Act. That is for your 55 plus communities or your age restricted communities. You have to include this. It's very important. I have fallen in love with a $1,300 rental that I was like, oh my God. 55 plus. Jesus Christ, they never put it anywhere. I fell in love. I was so angry. I thought I would hit the jackpot. Garage spaces, if it has 0, this is a little trick. If it has 0, carport spaces becomes a required field. But you didn't know that. If you put 0 in garage spaces, when you try to save this, it's going to hit you with an error on general info. You're going to have to come back down here to carport spaces, and you have to put a number of carport spaces. So that segues me to the most important part of putting listings on the MLS. Just because it's not required. So garage spaces are 0. If you put 0, let's say the townhome doesn't have a garage. I mean, I saw a lot of these. The townhome doesn't have a garage. Let's say it has 2 reserved spots, right, that are out front.
Those are carport spaces.
No, they're not.
Oh, they're not?
They're technically not.
But
those will go to parking space numbers.
But they have to fill it in, though, right?
You have to fill in carport spaces.
Right.
Garage is an enclosed structure. Carport is a sheltered structure, meaning it has a roof. Please know the difference. A parking spot reserved in a parking lot is not a carport space. You are misleading the public. Carport space implies that I can get out in the rain and I'm not getting wet. Big difference. Garage is enclosed, meaning provide security and privacy. So know the differences. If you are I have a listing in Homestead. It has 2 reserved parking spots that are in front, but it is not covered. Those, I would put garage space 0, carport space 0.
And then parking spaces 2.
And then parking space numbers, if I happen to know them, or I come down in here to parking description, and I put 2 or more spaces, assigned parking. You see that right there?
Covered, deeded.
Yeah.
And then I could put covered, deeded parking. Is it detached, meaning not in front of the unit, not on the side of the unit? Does it have an electric vehicle charging station, which is becoming extremely popular?
Mm-hmm.
Jesse's building that she rents in Dayland has them. That is a big selling point. If I own one. Is it a feasible garage? Meaning, so you know what that means? Garage is separate from the structure, but my deed, my warranty deed, details and outlines both of those structures as being mine, not the association of using allowance, okay? Meaning that I'm allowed to use it through the association rights. No. That means that my deed clearly outlines in my legal description,
You own the parking
structure
space.
A, structure B, as such. That is very important. You want to know why?
Buildings.
In places in downtown.
Or Sunny Isles. Yeah.
This is money. These are money. You're sometimes paying $50,000 to $75,000 for a fee simple garage or a fee simple parking space. Because they're parking under the building, so they know the type of things. These are really great ways to let these people know and save you from questions.
And propagate more on the internet to different sites that specialize in that, like Google Maps or Wave or stuff like that. That parking stuff right there is going to appear in those sites if it's linked together.
For furnished and additional unfurnished, I know this sounds stupid, but the person you're selling it for says, I'm going to be selling it empty. Put unfurnished. Additional furniture. You leave it blank because you're not putting any furniture. The reason for this, guys, and I'm going to tell you why, and I've explained it to a lot of people who do new construction, things like that. It saves you later on when they try to say, oh, but no, this was coming with it, and I thought that I was getting everything. No, it was clearly in there, unfurnished, or it is furnished. If it is furnished, furniture only, furniture negotiable, turnkey furniture. Describe it. Do the extra work to describe it so that it is clear as day. Nobody has to question you. Unfurnished. In particular, this one's being sold unfurnished. Dock space, very important. Parking space number, very important. You guys know those are pretty self-explanatory. If not, it doesn't even tell you because it's so self-explanatory. All right, these two right here, I'm going to tell you, are becoming a very highly searched box because these are for landlords. And because of the Airbnbs, it's very important to know. Lease number of times per year. That is whether or not the association has a restriction on leasing. Some buildings will allow you to do 2 leases per year. Some will allow you 4 per year. One will allow you 1 per month, which is 12. Some will allow you as many as you would like. Okay? That's also why you have a minimum number of days on a lease. Okay? Some associations are 365. They don't care. Number of times per year, 1.
Yep.
Now, I'm gonna throw you a curveball. Association allows you to rent out twice per year. They don't care how many days it is. So that means you can rent your place out for just the 4th of July if you want for $7,000. You only got 1 more rental. So this is very important to know if you're in the short-term or long-term rental game. Please be accurate with this. Take the time, call the association, find out.
Highly searched fields right now.
Highly searched right now. Governing body, this is another big one that's becoming to be searched because people don't want to deal with certain associations. Builder control means it's new construction, still under the control of the developer, has not yet been transferred to the people. Co-op, like I spoke to earlier, is a totally type of association. Condominium, homeowners, no governing body. Okay, this is very important.
No homeowners, no.
In Tamarack, there's a lot of places that have a $97 per year HOA payment. They have no governing body. Your $79 goes for the sign that's in the front of the community that says, Chestnut Lakes with a little light. That's what your $79 a year goes to. There's no gates, there's no fences, there's no common areas, there's no governing bodies. Very good to know. I personally do not like to live in governing bodies. Very important. Or other, if there is some other, try not to use other unless you have absolutely zero other way to explain it. Okay? Other shows people that you don't give a crap about how you're listing it. Just to let you know. Parking restrictions, another big one you're going to want to cover your butt on. Okay? If the association says no motorcycles, no RVs, no trucks and trailers, Coral Gables.
Not all of them.
You can't do any of these, okay? I mean, I think they don't care the amount of vehicles as long as they're all parked in your property. You can't have motorcycles out front, no RVs and boats, and no trucks and trailers. These are important. If you're a boater, this one right here is extremely important. I personally search via this field. But unfortunately, I get crap information.
Because not everybody's clicking it.
Because nobody's using it, okay? Unit design. Try to use all of these, guys. I'm going to go through it a little bit faster. If you do not understand what some of these are, what is a club area view? What is a garden view? What is a golf view and a coastal view? Some of these are self-explanatory, but some of them aren't. Use them. If you have questions, throw them in the chat. I'll check the chat in a little bit, and we'll go through it. Floors, very important, because if you're a pet owner, you don't want carpet, you don't want to deal with it. They're searching via these fields. So be very accurate, but also fill out as much as you can. You're allowed max 4. Okay? So let's say they have wood floors in the bedrooms, tile on the first floor, and carpet on the stairs. Click them. All of them. Click, click, click. Parquet floors or parquet floors. Those are an old style floor here in South Florida. Those are highly desirable if they're in good condition. So if they have them, that's a selling point. Click it. But don't click it if they're cheap vinyls.
Yeah.
All right. Construction type. Guys, that card that I was showing you earlier on the property appraisers, that'll have this information right here on what type of construction. This has a lot to do with how much they're going to be paying in insurance as well. If this is a CBS home, CBS, which stands for concrete, block, and stucco construction.
Those are the blocks. You know how you see when the delivery companies bring the big blocks? That's what CBS blocks are.
Yeah, that's the concrete block, and then they throw stucco on the outside. They have concrete block with brick. You know, precast concrete construction, frame, which is what Scott's house is, manufactured mobile home, you know what I mean? They have all of them. It's very important because this has a lot to do with their insurance and also the type of home they want to live in. I will not live in anything that is not CBS.
Me too.
I'm sorry. That's just, I'm very particular about it.
And like if you go up in northern Florida, it's very common that the first floor is concrete cinder blocks and the second floor is a wood frame, and then they stuck over it and it all looks the same.
That's right here.
But if a hurricane comes, you know, it definitely responds differently.
Right. And I don't personally want to live in there.
No.
Security info, that's becoming very, very popular in your highly dense urban areas. People want to know the security on the building or the complex or things like that because, you know, a lot of younger families are moving into that urban area. Do we have any questions on the general info?
And again, guys, the more details you put in here, the more opportunities you have out on the internet and whatnot. Remember, this is the data repository that all the information that's on every website out there is coming from here, different parts of here, depending on what licenses each aggregator uses. So the more you have filled out, the more opportunities you have out there, okay? Which means the more opportunities against Zillow you have out there. Let me be clear.
Okay, main living area. We don't really see too much of this in South Florida because we don't have basements. We also don't have attics. But you'll have this option where, and actually this one we will use here in South Florida a lot. Main living area is upstairs. So there's some beautiful houses on Miami Beach and also in the Keys and other things.
Even in Crown Gate, your first floor is living area, bedrooms are upstairs.
No. This is saying your main living area.
Oh, main living upstairs.
Yeah. So like there's different options here. Use these guys. These are going to save you questions, stupid questions from agents if they look. But it's also putting the correct information out there. So please use all of these. Remarks. Something that Scott started recommending, and I agree with him 100%, is to, when you put in your remarks, your directions, your broker remarks, go to Google Translate, stick them in Google Translate.
And put them in Spanish.
And put them in Spanish as well. We are in South Florida. We are in the melting pot. Remember, most agents are doing a crappy job. So let's help them as much as we can.
Guys, you can use Google. You can get away with using Google Translator here, okay? I don't normally recommend it because, remember, it translates word for word, not as if you were saying it. So for those of you that are fortunate enough to read and write Spanish, I would do it from scratch. But if not, you can get away with using Google Translator here. It's acceptable.
Okay, so look, input broker remarks. Guys, this is your conversation. And I'm going to go through some of these boxes real quick because maybe people don't understand. Remarks is what the agents are seeing in the description on the listing when they pull it up.
They're also seeing those remarks on the Zillows and Realtors and Homes.com and that. And in those remarks, the first three descriptive words are very important. And the reason for it being is if you're looking at it on mobile devices, okay, these things are shrunk down to fit on a mobile device to see it. So all of a sudden your big description is down to 3 words, 4 words that you're seeing on the first screen. So that's why those remarks are so important, especially the first 3 words, because on a lot of platforms, depending on how you're viewing it, that's the first thing that comes up that you get to read. So keep that in mind. What you put right there goes everywhere.
Also remember, this is what's going to auto-populate onto our website.
Yep.
Our website is going to
every website.
Word for word. You have 800 characters. Guys, I recommend you use
All of them.
Fluff words. Use as many of them, but use fluff words. Expansive, magnificent, glorious.
Okay, so now here's one other thing. Just like I told you guys when writing the bios, in that content, to try to use as many keywords that people can search for. Right there.
Do not put 3 bedrooms, 2 baths.
Right, it's already there. You don't need that. They know that already.
Stuff on there.
That you're wasting your characters.
But you can say magnificent, sprawling bathroom with dual vanity sinks and standing shower with view of park. Like, use words like that. Be descriptive. Paint a picture.
Right.
Take them on a little journey of the property, if you will.
And use the words that if you were a buyer and you were searching on Google or Yahoo for a house, what words would you use to pull up what you want? Use those words in the remarks. The remarks are the same as the description or like the bio on us SEOing the bio.
Use things like espresso shaker style cabinets, quartz countertop,
crown molding, 4-inch, 5-inch baseboards, the things that are
descriptive.
Thank you.
And also happen to be keywords that people would search by. So you don't put house with pool, house with large lap swimming pool, house with a beautiful reflection pool, house with magnificent
infinity pool would be an absolute keyword.
Don't just put house, 3-bedroom house with pool. Guys, they can pull that from the listing already. Spruce it up. Feel free to bust out the old lyrics and get creative.
Remember, and I keep saying this, what you put here is the face on the internet. And once it's out there, it's very hard to change. So when you're setting up your listing, you have an opportunity to provide the public what you want them to know.
Yep.
So give them as much as you can here. This is the repository. Some sites pull from certain section, other sites pull from other sections. So very important, like directions. If you don't want to write detailed directions, okay, you do it.
All right, so next one is going to be directions. Guys, you can get away with, please use GPS.
Yeah.
But if you happen to have my listing in Fort Lauderdale, which doesn't show up on GPS because it's brand new, find an address that shows up on GPS and put, please use semicolon 2807 Southwest 15th Ave, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33155 for GPS. Put it there for them. Guys, don't send them around in circles because guess who they're going to call? You. And they're going to call you on a Saturday while you're with your family and you don't want to be annoyed because their client may not, just give them do their job for them, guys. And I know it sounds stupid because they're supposed to be professionals as well, but you want to sell your property, right? Do it for them.
And you could always, in that situation, when you're there, okay, take a geotag picture so you get your GPS location and put it in there.
Yeah.
25 minus
now,
8.
I also want to tell you, if you're inside of a complex, and it happens to be a confusing complex, this is the section to use it. You have 255 characters. Please use GPS to this address. Once entering the complex, go forward to the first street, make a left, go to the end of the block, make a right, pink house on the corner. Why? Because a lot of these complexes that look the same, you can drive around in circles.
Yep.
There's nothing that's going to turn a buyer off more than getting lost on the way to a listing. Even if it's their agent's fault. Even if it's their agent's fault, it's going to turn them off. They're going to be like, walking into the house. You don't want walking into the house. All right, so directions, and then put them in Spanish as well. Broker remarks.
Let me take this one over here because
hold on. I want to say something about broker's remark. This is your private conversation to real estate agents only. Okay, this is not out on the internet. This is only something that they're going to see
in the MLS.
They have access to the MLS and they're a licensed real estate professional. Right. So you could put things like call Daniel for lockbox instructions.
Or call co-listing agent Daniel at a caller text. That's where you can put things there.
Directions.
I can tell you 9 out of 10 times they don't read it. I can't tell you how many times.
You can tell them go back and read broker remarks.
Right, but put them in there anyways. Okay, yes. And then also translate those in Spanish for a lot of the Hispanic agents that are out there that know speak English. Make it easy for them. Okay, they have clients that are going to buy this. Make it easy for them.
Yes, we want them to sell our property for us. Look, when you're a listing agent, okay, and you do this correctly, you can pop your listings into the MLS, put them on so that they automatically segregate out to everywhere and propagate out to everywhere. Sit back for a minute and collect a paycheck.
And
now, be hungry, go out there and try to get the buyer. Follow up on your leads. But You can if you want to.
Right.
Okay?
I mean,
that's the beauty of being a listing agent when you do your job right. Also, this is the only way you're going to do volume. Okay, guys? Only way you're going to do volume is by using internet broker remarks correctly. Use little things like this. You see this right here? That gets their attention. Little stars.
Yeah.
Because when you show, and I'll show you what this looks like on the other end when we're done here, of what they're seeing and why it's important. Okay?
And then again, translated to, and then look, the internet remarks, okay? There's a misconception
smaller
here.
character field. It's only 150 compared to 800.
Right. It's a quick synopsis, like Zillow has 2 spots. They have the main description and then they have another description. That's where I kind of, within this field, is how I kind of manipulate Zillow a little bit. So we've got to put something there. It is a required field, but it's in addition to what you've already put there. You know, this is where you can put location, location, location if you choose to use those 3 words. Okay. And if you do, I would do them bold with an asterisk. But that's where you do stuff like this and put it in Spanish also. The Spanish thing is new because, again, we're launching our Spanish side. So if I want to have a Spanish website, which we'll get to later, I need to also be using the tools that are going to feed it in order for it to work properly. So let's do it right. It's a benefit either way to you to put it in there because you're utilizing all the features of the data feeds that are out there. Okay.
Very important. Office remarks, you don't really have to use those. Those are going to be if, like when you work for like.
You're on vacation and you're leaving your account to somebody.
Yeah, and you can set it up for somebody else to use it.
Yeah.
Supplemental remarks, this is something new that they added. This is 10,000 characters. You can write a book. I mean, this is going to be great if you're getting into a complex property. Fort Lauderdale happens to have these magnificent 9-unit properties that are sitting on a 0.7 acre that has multiple zonings. And like, guys, those are my wet dreams. But this is a great place to put all that info. You know, can be zoned up to 16 units built. If this 48 condos, blah, 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 blah. That's what that's for, guys. You can again do it in Spanish. You know, Doral. If you pick up an industrial listing that's some vacant land in Doral, this is a great spot right here where you're going to be telling this investor or this developer why it's so perfect. Use the remarks. It saves you from having to repeat yourself.
Yep. And translate them.
Real quick, I'm sorry, before I move along, do we have any questions on this, guys?
Cool. Rock and roll.
All right. We're going to switch over to rooms. Rooms is a pretty easy tab. This information right here, if it does not automatically populate, please go get it off of the public record. This is important. Convertible bed. That means if you have a bedroom that converts from, let's say, an office to a bedroom, and it's a convertible type room, has possibly a door that encloses, let's say it's a den, but it can also be used as a bedroom because that wall is on tracks, that's where you would want to use this. If it doesn't, just click no. It's a very easy field. Majority of homes are a no. But if it's a yes, please use it. Efficiency. Does it have an efficiency attached to the property? This is very important. Like, you know,
put no,
in-law suites.
Put no if it doesn't have it. That way we're not going to waste the investors' time or people looking for investment property. Make it easy to use.
Use the correct information.
It's like feeding our website too. Don't forget.
Bedroom description. All right, guys. This is important for a couple different reasons. I'm gonna explain these couple top ones right here. 1 bedroom on ground level, entry level, master bedroom on ground level. These are very important. These 3 right here are for anybody who are disability, elderly, or have trouble going up and down stairs. They're going to want to know if they have a bedroom on ground level. Is the bedroom on entry level? Is the master bedroom on the ground level? Very important to know because they may not want to track up and down the stairs. You know, let's say you have somebody, empty nesters. They're selling their large ranch-style house over in Southwest Ranches, which is all 1 story, and they're moving east because they want to be closer to the beach. They may want to continue with a single-story property and not want to have a 2 to 3 story property, you know, tri-level property. Master bedroom upstairs. I recommend that if you have a standard house that's 2 stories and the master bedroom is upstairs, click this. Let them know that. Don't really use none and other unless you absolutely have to. If there's an additional studio, use that as well. Master bath description. This is a great way to double sell. You know what I mean? Does it have 2 master baths, a bidet, which right now with the toilet paper shortage is huge.
Again, and this propagates to all those other sites that help feed positioning on
Guys, this is
Google.
a big one over here. Combination tub and shower or shower only, separate tub and shower. If you have a child or you're expecting a child, a tub is very important to you. If you're elderly and you don't want to step over a tub, having a shower is important to you. These are why we want to start using these sections, because we're, does have a Whirlpool spa tub in there. Sell it. Sell the property. These are things that are going to pop up, and I'm going to show you at the end of this where all of this shows up on an MLS listing, so that when you're looking at it, you can see, one, where all the other agents are putting in the info, but two, where your info is going to show up and make that person's job so much easier that the house is practically going to sell itself. Okay? Right here, additional rooms. Very important to know. Glass porch, great room. Does it have a loft like Scott's house that I love? I personally love lofts. Some people hate them. Does it have a studio apartment? Great to know if I have a millennial that possibly is moving back in with me. I want to have something that has a separate studio apartment or a storage room. Very important to know. Workshop. Let's say my kids are gone.
You have a laundry.
Yes.
Laundry's a big one.
Yes. Laundry rooms are
huge.
In South
people
Florida.
don't, there's a lot of people that don't want to walk down the hall and use your combination washer dryer and the
ADA compliant here, guys. If you have anything, they have shower bars, shower rails around the toilet. They have lower countertops for height,
handicap access,
ramps, entry, things like that. Put it here. Just be careful. Just make sure that it is actually done correctly. And it's not just a piece of plywood stuck on the floor.
Yeah.
Make sure that it's done correctly.
It's permanent. Make sure it's
permanent. Most sellers will tell you these things. Hey, guys, because grandma was living here, she was bound to a wheelchair, we had all the countertops dropped. It's very kitchen. That's going to fall under kitchen modification. Okay, ramp to main, roll-in shower, because let's say it was an elderly.
Right.
I've done a couple, what are they called? The estate sales when they're probate. Probate, for people who passed away. And this one right here, ramped in main area, roll-in shower. Big ones. Very, very big ones.
Don't worry about the room information and dimensions. We don't expect you to measure the rooms. It's there for other type of applications. It's really not something we're doing. If you have the time and you want to do it, go ahead and do it.
If it's a new construction, they happen to give you a layout of the property. Let's say it's a Lennar-built home, and you have the layout. Cool. Feel free to put it in. You can save yourself some work and just put the picture on it later.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about rooms here? All right. We're going to move over to additional information. This is a big one, guys. I'm going to try to go through this quick. Please interrupt me if you have questions.
Fill out
everything
to the maximum on everyone if you can.
Yes. And sometimes you got to text. Sometimes you'll be sitting here and you're going to text your client. Hey, bud, so I wanted to ask you real quick. Also, another great tool for this right here is going to be the photos that you took of the home, the Google Street View, things like that. And I'm going to go through them as we go. Pets allowed. If you have a single family home, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're in a townhouse or a community or a condo, very important. Cable available as well.
Everybody has one unless you live out in, I'm down here. We don't have that problem. But if you were up north or in other places, that can be a situation where only satellite is available.
Correct.
So most everybody's going to put yes there.
But there are some buildings that are
non-cable ready.
Yeah, that are, so you just want to ask. Mm-hmm. Pet description. These two right here are very important, guys. Very, very important. If you don't know the answer, you can go to this one, restriction or possible restrictions. But
when you find it out,
really be careful with using none. None, you better have written confirmation that they don't have any pet restrictions, okay? But these two are very big because a lot of buildings have maximum 20 pounds, okay? And if you have a small dog, cool. But if you have a dog like mine that may grow to 30 pounds, you're going to want to know if you're going to be moving into a place where they're going to try to kick out a family member, okay? Because pets are family members to a lot of people. More than 20 pounds, great. Dog, if they really don't have a pet restriction on weight, like a townhouse that I have in Fort Lauderdale, you're going to have 95-pound dogs. You have a big dog. It's your townhouse. They don't really care. Dog, okay. You know what I mean? Cat, okay. Those are good. But very important. Number of ceiling fans. Very important. You want to know why?
Fixed to the house.
People want to put them on contracts.
Yeah, they're attached.
Correct. They want to know how many ceiling fans to put on the contract because they want them to convey with the property. Interior features. This is, again, a great place to put everything that your property has. Do you enter on the first floor, second floor, third floor? you have a bar? Does it have dome kitchen? Does it have an elevator? I mean, that's a huge selling point. Fireplace, sprinklers, handicap accessibility. Does it have a pantry? That's huge in a kitchen. You know, split bedrooms, stacked bedrooms, vaulted ceilings,
walk-in closets,
wet bars. All this is very important. Okay. Exterior features. Does the property have a fence? Fruit trees are big. I mean, a lot of your Caribbean clients are looking for homes that have fruit trees or availability of fruit trees because it's important to them culturally.
They want to grow their own stuff as well.
Yeah, they want to be able to grow. You know what I mean? Does it have electric shutters? Tennis courts. It's very important. Heating and cooling. Okay. Find out, is it gas or electric? Very important. Is it central or not? Does it have wall or window units? This is very important. I personally will not touch a house that has wall and window units. I will only get gas or electric, central cooling. There are people who want to search by that. So make sure you're very clear on these. Ask your client. They already know the answer. Okay? Equipment. Click as many as you can, guys. You're allowed 14.
Amenities, same thing.
Amenities, same thing. These are really, really cool because this gives the agent stuff to talk about with their client during the showing or right before the showing. Okay?
And again, it propagates through the IDX system to all those other sites out there.
Approval info, guys. This is probably one of the most important sections on this page because this is the one that's going to get you in the most trouble. 1 to 2 week approval, 3 week approval, association approval required, personal interview required, rapid approval. Very important. Very important. You have people who are particularly looking like my client's in a bad situation.
They got to move now.
They got to move now. But you're in an association that has a 30-day approval process. If you're going to put yourself in a bad spot because you're going to have an agent who's yelling at you, telling you you're doing a terrible job and you've screwed their client over and they're going to come after you. You know they can't because there's a little caveat, guys. When you save this listing at the bottom of every MLS listing, it has a little disclaimer. It says all information is deemed to be true and accurate, but is not guaranteed. Okay, so while we try to do our best to put the information in here, it is not guaranteed info, so they can't sue you or blah, 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 blah. But, I mean, you do look like a crappy agent, and you're going to lose a deal. I mean, if they were a rapid move-in, and now you have a 3 week, wasted your client's time and everything. Let them know if it's going to be a long approval process so they know what they're getting into from the get-go. They've added this cool little one, which is equestrian features, green energy efficient, and storm protection. These were not on the MLS last year. These are all new, really cool. You don't have to fill out the equestrian if it doesn't have it. It actually doesn't have a none, which I thought was weird.
Okay,
so leave it alone.
Now let's go to the green. The green one, the green and the storm protection are really important.
Only if it's certified, guys.
Right.
And they have paperwork and things like
right.
that.
If they have, for example, solar panels or a tankless water heater or the special roof or doors that are efficient, that are considered green energy efficient, they're going to have a little sticker on them. Yeah. You want to put that in there. There's a lot of people that are looking for green. Yeah, and the more green you have, the better. Right.
Yeah, especially younger buyers. They want to know that they're making a difference and that their home is going to be efficient.
And it's coming up on the sites and the blog posts that are all related to energy efficient green.
This is a big one, guys. Know your difference between the accordion shutters and your panel shutters and awnings, or complete impact glass or partial impact glass. Know the difference. Those are going to pertain to their insurance credits and how much they're going to pay on insurance. If you have partial impact glass, you're only going to get a portion of the insurance credit. So you want to let them know. This is also a cool one that they added. We do have homes with safe rooms here in South Florida. Make sure it's a verified safe room. I think it's really cool that they feature, especially if the person is a high worth net income. Mm-hmm. They're going to want to know that the house has a safe room. Window treatment, guys, try to fill this out as well. Does it have blinds? Does it have a bay window? Jalousie. Like, you got to let these people know between the jalousie windows or if they're going to be a regular style. Some people don't want jalousie style houses.
Right. They're non-energy efficient.
They leak AC just right out the sides of them, just let the heat in.
Yep.
Picture window, plantation window, these are important. There's some people who like to be able to search for this. Solar film or tinted, that's another big one. Thermal windows are a particular type of window. They will have a rating on the window. Do not misquote yourself here. Be careful. Okay, do we have any questions on this one right here? On this page of additional info? If you're not sure, guys, ask your client. It's their house. They've spent the money, or they've opted to not spend the money. When it comes to wind impact. No, we decided to not go impact because we have the accordion shutters. Perfect. Accordion shutters, no impact glass. You want to know, let the people know.
Or maybe they have partial impact and partial accordion.
Correct. They did the windows, but they haven't done the sliding glass doors.
Right.
My mom did that personally. Sliding glass doors were just as much money as the windows.
Yep.
50 grand total, 25 the doors, 25 the windows. They did half. Put the accordion shutters on the others. Saved a lot of money, but they still get all the credits. Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
So, we're going to get into one of the very, 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 very important ones as well. This is the financial/office information, guys. Please pay attention to this one right here. There's a lot of important things that I see a lot of agents doing incorrectly. Okay? Starting right here with terms considered. Okay? All cash is different from cash only. Okay? All cash means you'll accept a cash offer. Yay! Who doesn't love cash offers? Cash only means this property probably won't meet any financing guidelines and won't get approved for any of those type of appraisals. Don't waste your time. Bring me a cash only offer. Big difference, guys. Big difference. You'll scare off buyers with cash only.
Cryptocurrencies.
All right, yeah, it is.
Cryptocurrencies, I just noticed that. Wow.
That's the newest thing that they say.
I never seen that one in there before.
All cash and cash only are big differences, guys. So if your client has a house that could totally get a mortgage on it, click all cash, because who doesn't like a cash buyer? But you're also going to do either conventional or FHA. Let's say it's not bad, but it can qualify for an FHA 203K. Talk to your mortgage people. They can let you know what are the differences in the qualification. If
if you don't know what an FHA 203K is, maybe we'll do a seminar on that.
Correct, and we'll actually probably have one of our mortgage guys do a quick little training on the FHA 203K, the VA, conventional, kind of what the differences are, so you know. Lease purchase and lease option, these two are coming back. I'm seeing somebody who just did a $1.3 million lease option, which is pretty cool. Owner will hold second mortgage. Owner financing with less than 20K. Owner financing, seller will pay closing costs. You have a lot of, they have a lot of options in there. Cryptocurrency is a new one. If your guy wants to buy it in Bitcoin or Litecoin or whatever. Assumption means that your current seller's mortgage is assumable, meaning he can sign it off to the new buyer. The new buyer would slide in as a position holder of that note. Most loans don't do that anymore, FYI. But there are some old school loans that would still allow for that. We'll have a little bit of training more on the differences of them, but make sure you're choosing the correct one. If you have your standard house that is FHA, VA approved, conventional approved, cash approved, you would click all cash, conventional. You come down here to FHA, VA approved, boom. Letting everybody know you have you have options for this house.
And important to specify that. Very important, because that also propagates to blogs and Bloomberg and CNN and stuff like that. Those things are important. Remember, there's other data aggregators that are pulling this information for statistical purposes. So it's very important to have it right. The more we're able to give to these data aggregators, the more impressions and the more people that property gets in front of.
Okay, now guys, remember what I told you about pulling up the property tax roll, right? Here's another reason why. This is important. When a mortgage person is going to tell their client whether or not they can afford that house, okay, they have to plug in last year's tax info, okay? It doesn't even matter if the taxes are going to change, because they do change. The property gets reassessed. Give you an example. Sellers own the house since 1978. When they bought it, the house was $120,000, and they're getting taxed on it, and their taxes are only $1,200 a year. Okay, but now we know when buyer buys it, it's going to get reassessed at $400,000. Taxes are going to shoot up to $6,000, $6,500, and blah blah blah. But the mortgage guy actually goes off the last year, the the 1,000 whatever and change, which is the craziest thing. I think it's dumb, but it's the way they do it. So you have to be accurate. You got to come here to the tax roll. What was the 5,600? And I happen to know that that's this one, 2019. Okay, you see it right here, guys? The combination of the non-ad valorem and the ad valorem taxes. So we come here, 5,675. What year was that? That was 2019. What did it reflect? I happen to know that this is being held by an investor. So I know that this is tax
homestead.
Tax reflects no exemptions. But you want to know, does it reflect no homestead tax? Does it reflect the homestead tax? Disability exemption? This could say $1. Okay?
Yeah, when my mom was alive, my house, because my mom was fully disabled and the house was in her name, as well as my stepdad's. What happened is exactly that. I paid $50 last year in taxes.
You have to let them know
she was
that.
Totally disabled. So that's important because like now mine's gone up because we lost that exemption on the house. Obviously my mom passed. That exemption is now gone. So that changes. But when someone's buying a house, remember if you're buying it after the cutoff period, whoever's buying the house gets the benefit of whatever tax bracket you're in until the next year.
Correct.
So they're calculating that in their numbers.
Yeah, it's very important to do this information correctly because it's also going to help getting more people qualified to buy your house correctly and not have deals fall apart and financing. Right here, guys, this is important. It's very self-explanatory. This little box right here, association fee. Is it paid monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or yearly?
Can you explain to everybody the difference between a maintenance fee and an association fee? Please?
Okay, so your association fee, and it's going to tell you right here. Oh, no, it doesn't. It sucks. Okay, so remember how I said there was condos and there was associations? Condos call it a maintenance fee. Associations call it an association fee. Guys, it's really the only difference. Remember over here when we said governing body? Hold on, internet's slow. Governing body. If it is a condominium or a co-op, you would put it under maintenance fee. If it was a townhouse, it's going to go under association fee. Okay. There's also membership purchase required. These are for the homes that have
golf courses.
Correct. They have mandatory memberships. Not just golf courses, but that's a majority. We have some in northern Florida that are for lakes. You have lake membership. Yeah, but really? You get to have a dock. Oh yeah, you get to throw crab traps and everything. It's really cool. So membership purchase required, yes or no, guys? Please fill this out. Don't have somebody call you. Oh my God, I love your $200,000 house in West Boca. I want to buy it right now, and then they find out it has a $75,000 golf equity, and they're like, "F you, you wasted my time." Save yourself the phone calls, like the wasted buyers and stuff. Yes, how much is it? Is the membership fee paid? Monthly, one time, is there a 79? Like I know one in Boca, membership fees, yes, it's $75,000 and it's paid one time. It also has a maintenance fee of $1,000 a month that's paid monthly. I don't know who the hell wants to live there, but
people live there.
They sell.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what you would fill that out.
Or a land lease fee.
Now, I'm going to go into the next one, which is land lease. Okay. Some of these buildings, let me give you an example. Hallandale and Hollywood have a lot of these buildings that have land lease. Okay, land leases are and also co-ops. A lot of co-ops have land lease fees. Okay, it was a vacant piece of land. Some developer came to the owner and said, "Hey, I want to rent the land from you for 99 years or 50 years. I think Florida we do 50 years. We don't do 99s. 50 years with 5 options, which means 250 years total. Okay, and I'm gonna pay you $1,000 a month. I'm just gonna use a random number. So then everybody, let's say there's 10 units, would pay $100 a month for the land lease fee. So that's where you would put that. Some buildings have them separate. You pay a maintenance fee, you pay a land lease fee, and then you even pay a rec fee, which is for like common area and stuff.
Now, listen, the rec fee is very common in 55 plus communities.
Yes.
For example, in Sanctuary Village or in Holybrook, they have some pretty serious recreational fees. You have to be very careful there. Some units, especially in Holybrook, some already have the rec fees paid. Some still have balances. Very important. If it has a rec fee, that's where it goes. If it doesn't have a rec fee, put 0 in there. Very, very important, especially in those 55 plus communities.
You will get bit in the butt here, guys. Okay, you do this incorrectly, you can guarantee you're going to be holding the bag, and you're gonna have a pissed off seller who thinks you need to pay the money, and you're gonna have a pissed off buyer who thinks you need to pay the money too, because you misled both of them. So be very important. Be very careful on those. Owner agent, we have a responsibility to tell the public if we have a vested interest in the property. If you own 1/1,000,000th of that property, you need to let them know.
Now, that doesn't mean if it's your boyfriend, girlfriend, or daughter that you put, yes, no. If your name is on that property is when you click this button.
Or your spouse.
Right,
or your spouse. Your married partner, married, not domestic partner, but your married partner would be the same thing. Even if they're holding the title as a single person. I know that sounds weird. We can get into that discussion another day. We'll have a title person come explain to you about how title is held, which I think is a great idea. You know, title, when couples were single and then got married but never necessarily re-homesteaded a property would be different. If your wife, husband, or other that is married to you, you have to click yes here as well, guys. Hardship package, that's going to be with your distressed properties, okay? And it says here whether it's complete, incomplete, or submitted. That's going to be important to know because that populates out. That's going to be for a particular type of property, okay? Another important one here is possession, okay? Funding is your most commonly used one. Funding is your most commonly. That means when the property is funded by the title company, either party gets their cash money, you get keys. Very important to know because there are some people who need to get in before closing. Okay, you can do a pre-occupancy agreement so that they can move in first. Let's say I'm coming from a different country. I love this house. It's going to take us 40 days to close. That's fine. 45 days to close. Maybe even 60 days to foreign money. Okay, but can I rent it from you for those 60 days? You're living in your new house, paying a double mortgage. Why not? Right? So some sellers may be open to that, and some buyers may be looking for that. Long closing preferred. Let's say you have a client who doesn't necessarily know where their next house is yet. That's important.
I have a question, Valentina.
Yes,
in that possession, if the house sells fast, that they are planning to move out and they would like to rent it, is there any place that you can put that?
Subject to lease.
The seller is the one renting.
Okay, yeah, so the seller wants to rent it, you would click other, or you can even click negotiable. I would click negotiable just so that you get the person to call you. You know what I mean? If an agent sees negotiable, they're like, what do you mean? They're going to want to call you. But other would mean that, like, you know, you want to negotiate. There's something else that's going on. Either you want to do a post-occupancy agreement, which means the seller would like to rent the house back from the buyer for an extended period of time after closing. Let's say I'm selling my house. I'm going to give you an example of one I just did. A teacher was selling her house, but she's contracted till June. She's planning on retiring in June, but she's not quite sure. If they'll give her the money she wants for next year, she'll take it, right? So she's like, I might buy another house down here in Florida, or I might be moving up north with my kids, right? So she wanted to rent the house out until June from the buyer. So I happened to find a buyer who was not necessarily interested in moving into it immediately. I was open to doing until May, not until June. We got her until May. So I'm going to find her a little short-term Airbnb for June. That's no problem. But she's renting back her house till May. So now she gets to take her time, figure out whether or not she's going to renew, which unfortunately now with the way I have in school, she's not. So, you know, she's going to be going ahead and moving up north. So a perfect post-occupancy agreement. She rented the house at market value from them for, what is it? It was all February, March, April, and May, 4 months. She rented it from the buyer. Buyer collected cash. Everybody was happy. Sometimes we get to think outside the box with how we're delivering the home to whichever party. Also works the same with investors. If it's subject to lease, you're selling an occupied home, you want to let people know that they're not going to be able to move into that house when they buy it. There is a lease. In the state of Florida, I want to make this real clear. In the state of Florida, lease agreements supersede the sale of a home. Okay, by supersede meaning it is more powerful and overrides the sale of a home. If you have a lease on that property, you can sell that property 100 times to 100 different people, and it will not affect that lease or the leaseholders. Okay? Very important to note. That's not the same in every state. There are other states, and right off the top of my head, I think the Carolinas, where the sale of a property supersedes the lease. We are different. We're also a homestead state, which that has other things. We're going to have the title company explain exactly what a homestead state and what that means for possession of a home. Okay, flood zone. This is a cool one that they added in. Guys, I think this is so cool because it auto-populates, man. We used to have to hunt this down as agents. Call our insurance guy. Hey, man, can you let me know if this property is in a flood zone or not? Yeah. Big pain in the butt. But it was important to know because people won't touch things that weren't in flood zones back in the day.
And that's also another, I think, up to 5.
Yeah. It's perfect. It's all good.
Sorry.
Hot coffee, guys. Sorry.
Oh, my God. I just burnt you. Bro, of course. It just came out of the machine.
Sorry. Hot coffee. By the way, flood zone X means it's not in a flood zone. Flood zone AH, you would have to figure out what the plane is and blah, blah, blah. Do not try to be an insurance agent. Tell them to reach out to their local insurance provider and have them explain to them in full detail. Do not try to interpret insurance because it changes a lot, and we don't spend enough time keeping up to date, keeping our finger on the pulse, and educating ourselves enough. So, very important. We're going to scroll down to very next section. This one's pretty self-explanatory. If you have a co-agent, it goes here. You put the number 337.
There it is right there. Boom.
Oh, okay. That's you, right?
Yeah.
Now, guys, you have to click refresh. If you know clicking refresh, it no saving the info. You see now it saves Scott. If you want to remove somebody, you got to click refresh. Okay. They also have a cool little search area right here. Either by the license number, last name, first name, office ID. Office ID is not the name of the office. Do not put like RelatedISG. No, you know what it is?
It's whatever number we have.
It's this right here. This is your office ID. RISRO1. That's related office ID. Most people don't know the office ID, so don't search by that one. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. Down here is where it starts to get a little complicated, and I want to explain to you guys how to use this. Okay,
this is really, really, really important right here.
These are like main sending out and segregating and propagating site.
Now, this is not working properly. You can't choose anything. It won't let you
I
save
know.
it. So that's not up yet.
That's brand new.
Yeah, I know. It's not working yet. So let them know that.
Internet right here is whether or not you want to have your property go to IDX. Okay.
Let me explain maintenance terms. That means, do you want this property to be seen in in every other place other than Matrix? If you put no,
it will stay
only in Matrix. It will not go anywhere else.
It actually won't even go over to the depending on the agreement between local boards, it may not even pop up on other local boards.
Right.
Most of the time, guys, you want yes. If you got an a-hole client who is like, I don't want this thing being put all over the internet because they're doing something shady, maybe, I don't know. Or they don't want the ex-wife to know or the kids to know, whatever the case. That's the only time you choose no. Guys, have the conversation with them and get them to be a yes.
That's also on the listing agreement, a little box that you check whether they want it on or off the internet. It's part of the listing agreement.
Have the conversation with them and get them to a yes. If you're having trouble with it, please let me know.
Okay.
AVM and blogging. I don't care who they are. You need to get them to be a no every time, okay? AVM stands for automated valuation module, and blogging stands for blogging. What this means is that the internet is allowed to start putting an automated value, and I'm putting air quotes right now, guys, and I wish you could see them. Automated air value. Wait a second, I'm gonna go off.
It's his estimate, basically.
Yes, Zillow's the only guy who's allowed to get away with it.
Right. It's
his
estimate.
You don't want people.
But you don't want other companies creating their versions.
I'm gonna tell you what happens. If you have a yes here and a yes here, Coldwell Banker can take your listing, put it on their website, and say, we estimate this property at XYZ price, lower. And let me tell you why, because of blah, 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 blah. And they can write a whole blog about your property and why it should be less or it should be more and really mess you up. You do not want people out on the internet allowed to make an automated valuation of your property or to blog about your property. You want control of your listing. You own this info. Technically, you're a broker, but you own this info. Do not allow your owner to say yes on this. I mean, look, you know, the only time you may allow it blogging is it's a new development, and maybe you're trying to get buzz out there about it, and it's.
If you allow blogging, you need to pay attention to the internet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a slippery slope. So be very careful.
Yeah, I personally, I always used to put yes, and Danny taught me something with this, especially with the AVM. The blogging, it's a split decision. I mean, if you're, it depends where the house is, what you're doing with it. One of those. Let's deal with that on an individual basis.
Correct.
Now, let me explain what the address on the internet means. Okay, address on the internet does not mean whether this property is going to appear on the internet or not. It is going to appear on the internet. What that means is, do you want to display the property address? Okay, I always put yes, and let me tell you why. Because when you search the property address on the internet, or the neighborhood on the internet, or the combination of that, your property is going to appear on the internet. You're missing out on a lot of opportunities if you make that no. However, if you get a client that doesn't want their thing on there, you do have the ability to turn it off, but you're limiting the marketing capability by half by turning that off. Okay, so I recommend internet on, address on internet on, AVM off, blogging off.
Okay, multiple offers accepted. This is if you have, it's maybe a flip property and you're accepting multiple offers. Maybe you're in a high bidding time in the market.
You're doing an auction.
You know what I mean?
Maybe you're doing an auction
property, multiple offers, yes or no. You can feel free to leave it blank and leave it open. Okay, I personally do like to leave it open. But on the same point, this one right here, bonuses. If your seller is not offering a bonus or you're not offering an incentive, put no. All right, put no for a reason, because then up front there is no question about it. Okay. This right here is the commission that you're promising an agent. Again, I'm going to tell you guys a little law that I learned about this. Okay. While this information is deemed to be true and accurate, it is not guaranteed. What is guaranteed is your listing agreement. So if you ever run into a problem where somebody's trying to mess with the commission or ask for more or put this or that, or, oh, I put 3% on the contract. First of all, commission doesn't belong on a contract. Let's say they put 3%, try to argue, tell them, I don't care. Send them a copy of your listing agreement, redact whatever personal information you need to, as you're allowed. Send it to them and tell them have a great day. Because while you try to put the best information, as true as possible, what your listing agreement says is the law, or will be what's read as the law. But put down the correct, try to be accurate, guys. Don't try to look. My client right now is 2%. He also does this thing where he's 40% of first month's rent, but that's a little different story. Half month, that's a good one to use if it's a rental and you want to collect a half month rent. You're paying them a half month rent. For a majority of the time, guys, use a percentage. You know what I mean? So they know. Just don't put 2. I see a lot of people just putting 2.
It won't let you save it anymore. You got to put the percent
symbol.
Symbol.
No, good. Thank God they fixed it, because
yeah.
They used to drive
you got to put the percent
nuts.
Symbol.
I'm like, what? $2, 2 shekels, 2 gold dinars? What are you talking about here? So 2%, right? Most of the time, you know what I mean, you're going to be paying the agents the same, so you just copy and paste. Now, the reason for it is this. We know the differences between a transaction broker, a buyer's agent, and a non-rep, right? Sometimes when you're dealing with certain properties, non-reps are going to get 0. All right? And the reason being is you want them to have some type of skin in the game as an agent, and you want them to have some type of responsibility as an agent. Me personally, sometimes I don't even give a crap. Just give me your client. I'll take it to the finish line, just because you don't want to waste your time with them. Okay? Listing type, make sure you select the correct one. If you have exclusive right to sell, it's here. The exclusive agency, it's there. Guys, go look up what the differences are so that you're doing it correctly. Because this right here means that nobody's allowed to talk to your client. This is different. Limited services means that's open game. If it's an exclusive agency, that means that only your agency has not on an exclusive person to person. So that means that this one, they can contact your client and tell your client, hey, if I bring you a buyer, will you pay me 3%? The buyer can say, your seller can say, yep. Exclusive with exceptions, you know what I mean? Then they'll call you to figure out what it is. Limited services, a lot of these list your home for $595. $79, whatever it is, that's what they're falling into, is limited services. That's why we're still allowed to call them. You know what I mean? They're still falling into that FSBO expired limited services category because we're allowed to contact them. They don't have an exclusivity with their client.
Daniel, I'm sorry. So you're saying that we should always have as exclusive right to sell and rent or exclusive agency?
No, you should always have exclusive right to sell. That is the exclusive right to sell agreement that you use as a listing agreement, right? That's the most powerful one to protect you as the agent, to ensure that that property is going to pay you, right? But sometimes you get clients who are a pain in the butt and they're like, hey, I don't want to give you I don't want to put all my eggs in just you basket. I'll give you exclusive agency. You know what I mean? Or I don't really want to, like, I'm a FISBO and, like, look, you can list it on the MLS for me, man. And if you bring me a buyer, I'll pay them 2%, or I'll pay you 4%. You figure it out. But, like, I'm keeping it open, because if I go to somebody else, man, I'm gonna pay them a commission. That would fall into limited services. You want to let other agents know, and also so you know there are services that are buying just this section.
Yep.
Because then they're marketing. Okay, we actually buy this section.
Yeah, we
buy this section because if it comes to limited services, we market to them.
Right. Limited services is FISBOs, Expire, and stuff.
Or those online listing services that are crap.
Yeah. The flat, the Baycom.
So, guys.
Question. Can you scroll that down again, the listing type, please?
Yeah. You only have these right here. 1, 2.
I know. What is exclusive variable?
Exclusive variable is a modified version of an exclusive right to sell or exclusive agency. Same thing with exclusive with exceptions. That's like you took this one or this one and you modified it. Meaning, I want to have a lot of these sections for you guys, but I'm going to remove section 6. Which really you're not, something like that. You're probably never going to use those. You're never going to use those, but if you fall into those situations, that's going to happen on more of your oddball properties, your like an oddball property, meaning like it has multiple properties on one site. It's a redevelopment property. It's a distressed property, something like that. And the guy wants to keep, I'm saying guy meaning client, all right? Like that guy. The seller. The seller wants to keep their options open. So they're like, look, I'm going to give you, 80% of your contract, but I'm not going to give you this exclusivity and I'm not going to give you this exclusivity. You have to tell the world that you don't have that exclusivity. It's always our responsibility to be clear, transparent, and forthcoming with the public and other agents. That's under our code of ethics. Okay, so that's what this is really about, is letting the public and other agents know clearly what our relationship is with our clients. Okay, and depending on what your relationship is where you would choose. Exclusive variable and exclusive with exceptions are going to be modifications to an exclusive right to sell or an exclusive agency. Thank you for that question, though. Okay, guys, variable dual rate. This is probably one of the most commonly violated ones that I see on the MLS. And like everybody on my team, Scott, nobody really knew. I learned this from my post-licensing class. I had a really great teacher, man. He was a 40-year broker. Like, that guy knew his stuff. Variable dual rate means, okay, that the commission rate will be variable or different if a co-broker is used or if no co-broker is used. So if your contract says 3% for me, 3% for a co-broker, if no co-broker is used, I get 6%, that's a variable dual rate commission. That means that the commission is different depending on it. I like to buy, how I like to buy my listings sometimes? I'll tell them, look, 5% commission, and if I don't use a co-broker, I'll only charge you 2.5. I'm not gonna double dip on you. And they go, hell yeah, do it. That's a variable dual rate commission. You have to let the public know that. And the reason being is this. If I am a savvy buyer and I happen to pay for a limited access and I get to see this, I get to know that if I submit a full price offer with an agent or a full price offer without an agent, that the price could change. Okay? Being that if I, the scenario where I said I only collect a half the commission if I get both sides, as a buyer, I would then ask for the 2.5% discount. They have the right to know that, guys. They have the right to know the agreements that we had with the seller. Also, if you have that, let's say you have like a 6% total commission, 4% for me, 2% for the co-broker, you have to let that know. You have to select yes, because that'd be a variable dual rate. That would be considered a dual rate commission, and the agents have a right to know that they're receiving less of a commission than you, and not at the HUD at the end of this. They have a right to know in the get-go. Joint agency. That is going to be if you have a joint agent. Notice how the variable dual rate is a required field, by the way? All right, joint agency, that's...
Are you working with another brokerage? Are you partnering?
Yeah, you're partnered up with another brokerage. For the short period of time where I was at Gratitude Realty, and Scott was with ISG, and Scott was my marketing partner, and I had him as a co-listing agent on my listings, I had to put joint agency yes. Because technically, we were with two different brokerages.
Right, which is completely legal. But you have to disclose it.
But you have to disclose it to the public.
Right.
Okay? Showing instructions. Guys, this is really, really cool. This should save you a bunch of calls, even though times people don't notice. They're all pretty self-explanatory. One of them that I do not like to use. Lockbox, no appointment. Don't put that. Don't put that, man, because you know what that does?
You're telling the public the house is empty. You can get in there anytime you want, and no one's watching it.
And mira, in Miami, they end up blasting that out to everybody. Lockbox code is eso, dale, go see it whenever you want, and your appliances go missing.
Yep.
Don't do it. If it does, if let's say it is vacant, and it is on a lockbox, and it can show it whenever they want.
Put on show assist.
Click on show assist. Use courtesy call, go and show. I'll show you that. Actually, we'll do a quick little run on that. So you can see where this ties to as well. Compensation, we went over that. It doesn't have a bonus. Do it. Okay to advertise is new.
It's not working yet. Leave it blank.
Leave it blank for right now.
If you try to choose something right now, it's not going to let you submit the record.
Error.
And also the MLS offers. That's new. They're still working on it.
No. This is actually very old. But it used to be automatically on enable, and it drives me crazy. Does anybody remember back in the day?
Oh, is that what that is?
Remember everybody back in the day when you would look at the listing and it would say to submit an offer, click this link, and it was frustrating because it took you on some loop where you had to add a password that you never even created. That was this. All right, the MLS tried to make it easy for agents some years ago and create like a little platform where they could accept offers for your agent on their behalf, kind of pop it into a little mini CRM type thing that they had on the MLS, and try to put it in an easy format for an agent and alert the agent. Hey, here's an offer that came in for you. MLS stopped that project years ago, dead in the water. They're not updating it. Don't use it. It's a kick in the butt, and it's frustrating to use. You want offers being sent directly either to Broker Sumo or directly to your inbox. This way they don't get lost in cyberspace, okay? So always make sure it's disabled. It now auto-populates to disable, which is really, really cool. It used to be on enable, and you had to come in here, so that's the different. Now, URL and virtual tour, those are going to be handled by Scott all the time. If you need to make it active, shoot him a message. Hey, Scott, what do I put here? And he'll get it to you. Okay, guys, this used to say up to 35 images. We're now allowed to put 99 images.
Now, let me put a caveat on that, guys.
Don't use all 99.
Not all platforms will display all those pictures.
Correct. Some will only take the first 6.
35 is the magic number that Zillow recommends. Okay, if you're using a Zillow certified photographer, that's usually the quantity of images you're going to get. Why 35? Because their systems start limiting at 35, at 40. So if you have too many images, what's going to happen is these other systems it's propagating to are going to say, oh, I'm having a problem with you. Let's just not show the listing at all, and you get blacklisted.
Yeah.
So you don't want to blacklist yourself. Okay, 35 is the magic number.
Guys, this one, allow preferred photographer to upload. I'll be 100% honest with you. This is brand spanking new. They just modified this.
I can tell you a little bit about it. Okay, so I received a phone call today from Jerome, my photographer, asking me questions about 3D. We've been friends for a while, anyways. And I learned something today. Okay, we were talking about the 3D camera, and I was saying, the biggest problem I have is sending people to go take the pictures and this and that. He's like, well, Scott, that's funny because Zillow now has a photographer module for us Zillow certified photographers. So a Zillow certified photographer has access to the back end of Zillow to upload videos, pictures, and stuff that we cannot do, including Matterport 3Ds, okay, which are now capable of being produced with the same camera that I have. This is all new that has just come out in the last day or so. He told me about this today. So when you're using a Zillow certified photographer, okay, they can also do the upload of the images to the MLS. Now, remember, we want geotagged pictures in here. So you need to ask the photographer, and of course the Zillow ones are geotagging. It's all part of it. You need to ask them if the pictures are geotagged because from what I've learned in the last couple of weeks in doing this is those geotags are extremely important in here as well, because at the end of the day, this is propagating to Zillow that propagates to Google. You follow me? Everything ends up at Google, so we have to give Google what they want.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what all this geotagging stuff is for.
All right, guys. So does anybody have any questions on this page right here? We went over a lot of info on this, so if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here for you. And if you have any questions moving forward after this, let me know as well. We can go over every single one of them. I'm going to cancel this input, and I'm going to go quickly over two things. I'm going to use an old listing that I have already. I want to show you guys
What it looks like.
Yeah, well, first I want to show you guys the showing time. All right, configure showing time. When you complete a listing, it's going to pop up this box right here.
Listen, when I'm on them, I'm configuring the show time for them because I'm removing myself
so I want them,
so that I don't get any.
I want you guys to see. Okay. I want you guys to be able to see show time. All right, and this is where you're going to manage photos, manage attachments, manage show time. We're going to do show time super quick.
Here's something with the photos also, guys. Upload them in the order.
Okay. Don't worry. We're going to go over that when we get to photos. All right, guys. Allow agents to request appointments online. First and foremost, if you do not have this clicked, yes, they're not going to be able to click showtime. Guess what they have to do? Call you, ask you questions on Sunday at 11 o'clock in the morning while you're cooking breakfast.
Or 11 o'clock at night.
Or 11 o'clock at night while you're with your significant other. Guys, use the technology. Unless allow them to always schedule online. Even if you have to meet them there, you have options for that. Look, right here. Appointment required. Courtesy call, go and show, and view instructions only. Look, I do not like view instructions only. I used to use it all the time. View instructions only is similar to saying lockbox, no appointment required, go be willy-nilly with my property and don't. Courtesy call, go and show, tags them, sends you the info on the agent, and then gives them the automatic instructions on how to show it. So if you are vacant on lockbox
or on Supra,
you know, or keypad or whatever it is, you don't have to necessarily be there. They can go show it. I recommend using courtesy call or go and show, right? Don't really use this anymore. Appointment required is if the seller has to meet them there, you have to meet them there, you know, the seller says 24-hour notice,
That's more for people that are living in the home.
Correct.
As opposed to a vacant property. We have a different approach for people that are still residing in the properties.
This right here,
a vacant.
Required, okay? Have you ever went to make a showing on showing request and you notice how there was a section of the day that was blacked out? And you couldn't schedule anything for 12 hours, 24 hours, till the next day or whatever? That is this. This is how you set it. If you set 12 hours here, whenever an agent goes to click showtime, they will automatically get prompted
after those 12 hours.
They can't make a selection on the calendar until 12 hours out. Okay?
From the time you set it up.
From when they click on it.
Right.
So let's say they click on it right now at 1 in the afternoon. They can't make a showing appointment until that's why, 1 in the morning. 24, 48, all that as well. Suggested is a little different. Suggested is suggested timeline, obviously. And then here, maximum appointment length and allow overlapping appointments. I personally say yes. Please tell the showing agent ahead of time.
Please explain to them why.
The reason why is this, okay? Let's say you have a couple clients.
Well, first of all, let's say you have a client that requires you to be at the house. Okay, they're living in the house, and you're showing.
And you're going there to open up the property for an agent, right? But that agent has two different clients who are both interested in the same style house, and she's taking both of them out showing properties at the same time. I've done this before, because while they're looking for the same house, they have different tastes. So why spend 2 different days showing the same damn houses when I can just take these people to the same houses, whoever loves it the most buys it, right? Also, that creates a little bit of urgency between buyers. That's a different conversation for another day. But let's say he or she wants to bring her 2 clients at the same time.
Or even 2 separate realtors with 2 different clients. Yes. Let them overlap while you're there.
Why not, while you're there, knock out 2, 3, 4 birds with one stone. Now, no exclusive showings only. Let's say you want to have the privacy and you want to have, this is a vacant one, so I'm going to put it at no need to inform the showing agent. I don't even care if 5 people want to show up at the same time. Combination for the lockbox, make sure you put the correct. Oh, this is really cool. This is showing restrictions, guys, really fast. This allows that you start times and dates for times that you don't want it. Easter, Sunday. Let's say we did not have this pandemic going on, okay? Most of the time, your clients are going to say, I don't want any showings on Easter. I'm with my family. Leave me alone. You're going to want to come in here, one-time restriction, put it for Easter Sunday, boom, 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 boom.
And name it Easter Sunday restriction.
Yeah, Easter Sunday. Or let's say they're like, hey, 2 to 4 p.m., I have the tutor here for my son.
I don't want anybody coming.
Nobody bothering me in the house. I'm paying a lot of money for that root tutor. Boom. Or all-day restrictions. For the next 4 days, nobody's showing the house. I'm going to Cancun, and I want my house left alone. I only want to be there. People get weird on their houses. This allows you to be with the ebb and flow of what your client requests, okay? Use it. It's our technology, man. This is our technology. We pay $800 a year. Access info, this is pretty self-explanatory. Keypad, combo, super iBox, all that good stuff. Showing instructions, I like to let them know, please turn off all interior lights and leave the front porch light on. Thank you. Other times you'll see, don't touch the air conditioning unit. Please keep AC at 74. Take your shoes off before entering the home.
Do not flush toilets.
Do not flush toilets.
No running water, no electricity.
No bringing dogs to poop in my house. I had that happen to me last week. Okay, somebody brought the little poo-poo dog in.
And they shit in the house?
They pooped in the upstairs bedroom and they didn't even tell me. But that's why we use showing time, because guess what I was able to do? I called the last 3 agents that showed the property. I said, hi, were you showing the property with a client that maybe had a dog? And one of them was like, yeah. I'm like, that client allowed their dog to poop in the bedroom. And they were mortified. They were embarrassed as all can be. Oh my God, Daniel, I'm so sorry. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. But please, moving forward, be more aware of what your clients are up to. They're inside of my home. And that client, I guarantee that agent moving forward will be a much more diligent agent during showings. So,
sure, or may not even allow dogs in the showing.
Or may not even allow dogs moving forward. And that's our responsibility as professionals. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes,
sorry, Danny, to interrupt. In those places that you need to show your agent ID, is required your ID, because it happened to me showing some properties and I didn't see anywhere. I'm glad that I have it with me.
It should be in 2 places. So under broker remarks, it should be under broker remarks. Be prepared to show ID at the gate. That should definitely be there. I mean, all my homestead properties that have that electronic gate system, I try to tell them, be prepared to show ID. This is another one. That's exactly you put here. Gate code, dial #66 at gate. Be prepared to show ID at the gate. That would be a perfect place to put it right there. So guys, I'm going to explain what this box is right here. Okay? I'm an agent. I see the listing. I like the listing. I make a showing request. In this case, this listing is set to courtesy call or go and show. So I make the request for 4 p.m. today, and it automatically hits me back with, congratulations, your showing has been approved. I see these 2 boxes as well. Showing instructions and driving directions. Those will pop up on my app or on my email, a text message, whatever I chose to receive my instructions, these will pop up. So this will be right in here as if you were speaking directly to the person who's going to show your property. That's why I put, please turn off all interior lights, leave front porch light on, thank you. I also like to end my things with thank you because we're professionals. Okay? We get to bring a little bit of manners back. Good luck and thank you is a great way to end everything here because we don't have enough camaraderie in this industry as it is. Everyone wants to be cutthroat. And in actuality, we have more than enough properties to sell for every agent, if you think about it. So we don't need to be disrespectful and be hateful towards other real estate agents. Those are our compadres. So put a thank you. Put a thank you, put a good luck. Call me if you have any questions.
You can put emojis in there too if you want, by the way. You just have to copy and paste them in there.
Sometimes I'm like, please call Daniel there. Please call listing agent with any question at 786-619. You know what I mean? I put my number in there.
Guys, a lot of people use some of the features of Showtime, and there's some great webinars that they've released now in this downtime. I highly recommend you go out to YouTube or whatever and watch them. This is a really powerful application, and it does a lot of really cool things. So
there's a lot of states who don't even have
this.
Right.
It's super cool. When you're setting up your showings, you can use this to make a smart route. But we'll do a whole nother training on that. Let's just get through this.
They also have right here some preferred notes. So some predefined ones that you can just put in there. Again, that driving directions, put it there. Even though people call me, oh, I couldn't find your property. I'm like, did you look at the driving directions on the showing instructions? Oh, no, I didn't. Hold on. Oh, okay, I got it. Thanks, man. Click.
Daniel.
Yes.
Can I add something regarding having to show your license at the gate? Something that happened to me. Obviously, I didn't have it, and I didn't even the girl didn't even have that on the showing. So what I did was I went into DBPR and pulled it out, and I was able to get in. You know, so that's something to
Excellent.
not get frustrated. Just go to DBPR and show the security guard.
Yeah, but you could download the little pocket card or take a picture of it, keep it stored in your phone. That's what I do.
Take a picture of your driver's license, take a picture of your real estate license,
and have it on your phone.
Save it in your phone, and then click the little. If you have an iPhone or Android, even click the little heart so that it falls into your favorites folder. I know I have 5,000 photos, so I don't want to go scrolling for a photo ID, but I have it favorited, and I only have like 15 or 20 favorited photos. Much easier to find my ID. And that doesn't work for some of the things, but at least it is a little option. And with, I believe that was Janet, right?
Yeah.
Janet said, great idea, like think outside the box. Our stuff is available on DBPR. You can always download a quick, the wallet size. Not only that, if you search your email, DBPR, you probably have the original email from when you renewed your license and they sent you a copy of it. Yeah. So think outside the box.
Yeah, but sometimes it's definitely, you know, it's great that you guys are doing this, because sometimes when you're there and your client is following you and all that stuff, you don't think at the moment. You don't have all these ideas, you know?
But the whole concept is be prepared. You know, if you have all this stuff ready and if you use tools like this, you can avoid these type of things. We're going to we'll do a training, I think, on Show Assist, because a lot of what you're talking about can all be addressed right there as well.
Look, as we start to become better agents and put better things on the MLS, I feel that the rest of the agents will. You know, you've ever heard of critical mass? I know Valentina has. It takes 2% of the agents to start doing good for the rest of the agents to start doing good. Well, we get to lead by example. We get to be the difference on the MLS. We get to start doing our stuff right. And you know what? There might be some agents who go, oh, man, this listing was done so well. All the information is there. I should start doing that, man. And maybe they will. I don't know. I like to think they will.
Well, you know, again, remember, go back to thinking of the MLS as a data depository.
As your Bible.
Okay,
and
that's what's going to feed everything else. So this is the starting point of where it has to be right. Okay, when we do coming soon, we're going to create our coming soon pages. We're going to, or you know, we're going to build that and we're going to copy that into the MLS for coming soon. So we're going to go backwards. But at the end of the day, we have to pick one originating source that everything has to be completely accurate.
Guys,
okay, and this is it right here.
We're going to go quickly through the last two. So this is attachments. All right, guys, you put a description, choose the file, choose what it is, then you have to hit upload. Once it comes up here and it's uploaded, then you can save it. For example, I have included features right here. This is a little like
it's a PDF. You can upload a PDF. You can upload a Word document too.
Oh wait. All right, here it goes. It's gonna pull it up for me. And this is just included features with my listing that are included in the home. And great little selling thing. You know what I mean? This is pulled right off on our website. Don't even have to kill myself. Exterior details inside your bath. All looks great. Use the tools that are around you.
And by the way, just right there with that document, he just found all the data that he needed for his landing page.
Correct.
You know,
now, the other one next is going to be photos. All right, guys.
This is crucial.
Scott was talking about the number of photos and everything. It's very important, and he's 100% accurate, right? But another thing that people forget are two important things. One, the MLS states that the first picture has to be a picture of the front entry of the property, as per MLS law. The front door, front of the property, technically even the front of the building does work if you can't get a picture of the front of the door. Legally, all right? So you can see that's my picture, and then I even have of the front door. Guys, take them on a tour of the property when they're going through this. Imagine, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to now switch to the other side of it.
Those are horrible 3 pictures.
Yeah, those are really
horrible. Now, one of the things
guys,
on rentals, you can use your telephone to take the pictures. Please take the pictures sideways, not up and down. They're very hard to work with when they're like this. Okay,
this is the front.
Take it sideways. You know, with your camera landscape. Okay, take it. Make sure your location settings are on. Okay, I don't expect you to hire a professional photographer for rentals. I do, on the other hand, expect professional pictures on the properties. I don't mean the 115, 200. I mean the higher end stuff. Use a professional. The pictures are what's selling these homes right now.
They really are.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't think so. So I did a test. I had 12 listings at one time. I took 4 of them, and I paid the money to have professional photos taken. And guys, those properties sold in a heartbeat, and now I just do it from the get-go.
Yeah, it's all about the pictures right now.
Yeah.
And remember, the pictures that Zillow and Realtor and Homes, it's all coming from here.
Preface before I take you through this camera roll, these were taken off of my phone in a rush in order to get the listing up for my client.
Right, horrible pictures.
The photos are in the process of being redone.
Show them the listing, the model.
But the 3-door. You know what? Let's do the model.
Oh, yeah, show them the other one.
Right.
The one that's done right. Yeah, show them the model.
Yeah, let's do a pretty one.
That way you can see one with professional pictures and what it's supposed to look like. Again, with a rental, I don't expect you to pay for a photographer. Like I said, I spoke to my guy this morning that gives me really good rates, and now he's encompassing doing 3D and doing the Zillow and all that. Something I didn't even know was available. So
as you can
super
see,
cool.
The photo's a lot nicer. But I want to point out.
How much he charges?
Excuse me?
How much he charges?
Well, I'll talk about it later because he's adding this new stuff we talked about today, and we were discussing. He was asking me what I thought it was worth, and I said, it's a tough conversation. You need to make packages. If you're going to do this, make it a package that includes your aerials, your interiors, and your 3D. Because really, you do 3D for free with Zillow. It just looks like shit.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're using a professional and a professional photographer, it's going to look like Matterport. And now, as of a couple days ago, Matterport now supports cameras that are not the Matterport $3,000 camera. Okay. So they opened up their technology to everybody else to tap into now. And Matterport is the best in 3D. They're the most expensive and they're the best. But now they're giving people with their own cameras, certain cameras, the ability to do it as well. Okay. They're high-end cameras. It's like the one I have. The 3D one I have is one of those cameras that works for everything so far, but it's a $400 or $500 camera. Okay.
Well, you do have one that can be
But we do have one, by the way. You guys don't have to buy it. We own one already. So you're more than welcome to use it.
Exactly.
Just sign it out, take it, come back. You'll have to figure out how to use it. I can't do them all. I'm trying to. So I encourage people learning how to use the equipment. We'll
do a quick video on it because I'm really comfortable how to do it. So Scott will record me doing it. All right, so these are the photos, right? You're going to take the person on a tour. First one, front of the house. Oh, Horizon by Celebration. Look at the beautiful map of the whole property. Kitchen cells. Then up the hallway. All right, you want to take them through the property. This one's a little out of order, but
yeah, it's out of order.
Through the living room. You know what I mean? Who the hell put these in order? All right. Anyway, guys, I have to fix this listing.
Yeah, you just got to reorganize them. That's one.
But what you want to do is you want to
give them a tour. Okay, when you upload the pictures, upload them as if you're presenting the house to them.
So normally the ways we go, these would not be in the way, but you would walk into the house, see the living room.
The reason these are sloppy is we did 16 of them all at once, and and at that point we just wanted to get the shit up, to get it on
I had to redo all of my listings.
Yeah. Danny in the transfer got locked out of the MLS when he moved his license over. So we had these listings in limbo for a week, 10 days. We just got access back to them a few days ago. So now we're trying to fix everything. We couldn't even get in. We couldn't even get into edit. They locked them out completely. So I mean, now we're fixing them because we already had them mostly set up. But unfortunately, we lost access in the middle of it.
So this one goes in a little bit better of a flow. All right. So here that's the property.
By the way, this home is for sale, guys. It is fully furnished like this. It's one of our listings. If you want to do videos or do a virtual walkthrough or whatever, we have some beautiful listings that are available for you to go do it.
Correct. You want to do a bio video here? You'd be sitting on the couch, sipping a glass of wine. Things are available. All right, so you walk in. This is the front living room. There's the dining room. As you're walking through the property, this is the flow of the property. Okay, there's the garage, the half bath. You know what I mean? The living room, the kitchen. You want to take them through a flow of the house. This is the outside. Now we're coming up the stairs. Mm-hmm. This is in the hallway. You hit the thermostat.
Now, let me zero in on why he's showing these features. These are Wi-Fi certified homes, and people are looking for Alexa and these smart thermostats and green. So that's why we put pictures in this, because those are things that people happen to be interested in, and you need to define that in the description. Very important, because those are keywords people are going to search for.
So you go through the master bath.
Like here, hold on, go back to the other one. Like in this one here, when you're writing blog posts or you're writing stuff like that, you want to pick detailed room about this room being designed by Ashby Furniture with giraffe pictures or whatever you would describe that with keywords that somebody would be looking for stuff like that. This house happens to be very unique because it was a model that we're selling.
All right, but you see how they all go in a flow, and then we get to the layout and the amenities. You know what I mean? That's how the other one's supposed to be laid out.
Yeah.
So that's how you would go through, and you want to set the photos up, and you want to pretty much front of the house, front entry, through it like if you were walking through the house.
Now, here's another thing. If you have it set up like this and they're numbered, when I get the pictures from you guys, you're just going to number them in the order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But before I put them in the system, I'm going to rename them so that they're geotagged. So that the name of the file coordinates with the geotag and the SEOs. So I'm going to rename them anyway. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for me is the easiest way for me to get those pictures, because when I upload them in the system, I'm going to rename them to be smart tag for additional searches and stuff like that Google does. All right, you guys don't need to worry about that part, but that's really that stuff's really important to get these out in front of people.
Now, guys, real quick before we wrap this up, does anybody have any other questions over anything we went through? Comments, questions, concerns? I really appreciate you guys being on the line.
Hold on, I'm going to stop. Hold on, I'm going to stop all the recording.